Cruzaré los montes, los ríos, los valles por irte a encontrar.
Hello everybody, my name is the Anime Slayer and welcome back to a brand new video. And today's video will be analyzing an anime that is relatively quite new and it came out last year in summer. And that anime is Monster Girl Doctor. Now, Monster Girl Doctor might be seen as a sophisticated version of Monster Musume, and it was made by Argo Studios. And today we'll be analyzing it, and I'll be going over the pros and cons of this anime. And honestly, you should probably give it a watch. It's nothing to brag about, but I honestly think it's a solid anime, so maybe after this video you'll decide to give it a watch. And of course, spoiler alert, there might be some things that I talk about that have to do with the story, so if you don't want to get spoiled, leave. But if you want to learn about it, stay tuned. So first we'll be talking about the characters, which in my opinion, as you know, are the backbone of an anime. And first we have Glenn, led by the main character. And overall, Glenn serves as a good main character for the anime, as he progressively becomes more confident in himself despite always being in tough situations. We see this throughout the anime as he continues to attempt to treat Lady Scotty, which is another character, despite her being reluctant and the task being very daunting. This shows he has great confidence in his abilities as a doctor. And also, I like to know in this anime, this is one of the rare occurrences when I feel like the English dub is actually better than the sub, as Glenn's voice actor is a prime example, as his voice is deeper and sounds more confident in times where he needs to be versus the sub. Find out, go check that out for yourself. Glenn also plays a good harem, believe it or not, as he doesn't really lead anyone on, as he actually shows he's more focused on his work, but he also shows he can be caring and considerate for those who feel some way about him, such as Safi, who we'll talk about in a little bit. But overall, I think Glenn plays a good main character, as he's not overly bland and presents some good character traits. And with that, we get into Safi, who is the second main character. And as you can tell by the start of the video, I think Safi is a great character who's honestly an S-tier waifu, but that's another story. First, she is actually very skilled in her work as a doctor, but also quite charming and creative when it comes to teasing others, which makes her easy to like. Once again, she also has a great English dub voice actor, as she's voiced by Christina V, who, for those of you who don't know, also voices Darkness in Konosuba's dub version. Unlike Darkness though, she is no masochist, as she enjoys helping others, especially Dr. Glenn. But one of the best things about her is her character design. Despite being a snake-like monster, she has a gentle and welcoming attitude, and her nurse outfit looks great on her. That tale honestly has me thinking of a lot of questions, but that's another story. She also presents great balance between her and Glenn, as he is more shy and reserved, and she is more upfront and blunt, which balances out nicely. Overall, she's one of my favorite waifus and has steadily been climbing my list, despite this anime being relatively new and only having one season at the moment. And with that, we get into our next character, Thessalia. While initially being quite loud and quite cocky, we see this persona of Thessalia show great reason to why she has to act so flamboyant and proud. We learn that she is an heiress to her family business and has a great pressure on her back to lead her family's company to great things, which explains why she needs to act all high and mighty. But over time, we see her become more considerate of others, as she lets her pride become less what controls her, but rather her heart to what she wants to do. She also has a great character design. Her armor and casual clothes suit her very well, although they do tease her in a maid outfit, but they never show it, which is quite upsetting. It's like when they made Boo slim in Dragon Ball Super, but then for Determined Power, but then they never do anything with it. It's like, why even play with my feelings like that? But all in all, she has a great character and serves as a close second to Safi as the best girl. And with that, another key strength of this anime is the surrounding world. After watching the anime over again, I came to appreciate the atmosphere of this anime, as it had this old style medieval city and transportation by centaurs and monster species in the show, and they also use their character variety very well, as monsters serve as the main transportation and the main citizens for this city, but they also use humans to show that the balance between them can be very real. And they also have other great visuals like waterways and the Vivir Mountains, which pretty much offset the heavily cemented city. But I found another thing interesting about their city aspect is that Lindworm, which is a city, differentiates itself because it is one of the only cities that openly supports monsters and humans living in harmony, which is a great place for Dr. Glenn to be part of, because as we see, he treats monsters just by being clearly a human, and overall the city just presents another great aspect of the show. However, I feel a big con, and this is the only con I'm going to be discussing, is that it kind of focuses too much on a harem, if that makes sense. Because the anime has so many good ideas, but also it pushes the harem theme too much. Because I can understand why Tisali and Safi fall for Dr. Glenn, but the other patients are a bit of a stretch. Just because he cured or helped them, they start developing crushes for him. Because it's just hard to believe that these simple things can push them to like start falling for him. Like, I mean, I help girls all the time with classwork, and you didn't see me, you know, my direct messages are drier in the Savannah Desert. But I mean, for example, Lady Scotty, who I mentioned earlier, views Glenn as a big brother figure, which I had no problem with. But then this turned into more romantic relationship. Like, they should have just kept her relationship as a big brother, like someone she admired. But then they made it into a point where she wants to be with him and kind of, you know, sees him more as a romantic figure than a brother figure. And the problem with this is that it kind of, with the harem aspect, it kind of pushes this too much, and we kind of lose the other aspects of the story. And another problem is that in harems, no one wants to see their favorite girl lose. For example, I want Safi to end up with Glenn, but she suffers from the curse of being childhood friends, which we know never works out for them. And it just creates an issue of having too many girls falling in love with Glenn, because by the last episode, as we see it, they literally fall for him. Literally, they make a body pile on him, and he just smiles. So honestly, I just feel the show can get a little too caught up in the harem aspect, because it has some great ideas, having these monsters and humans working together despite having a troubled past and a war. So I just think overall it gets a little too caught up in being a harem, and it just needs to be focused more on the aspects of the story rather than who is falling in love with who. And overall, I would give the anime out of 10 possibly a 7. Honestly, I do like it, as it is something that is very simple and like a peanut butter jam sandwich, but others might find it quite boring, as sometimes it is heavily dialogue intensive. But I just think it didn't need to be so invested in the harem theme, as it had interesting ideas to begin with. So overall, I recommend you give it a watch. As I stated earlier, it is basically the sophisticated Monster Musume, because it's not only about like hot girls, it's more about like the main character is more interesting than the character in Monster Musume. So honestly, you should give it a watch, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.